Welcome back to the Queen Rising podcast, the space where we talk about all things confidence, energy, and stepping into more alignment. If you've ever said to yourself, I've been out of the workforce for too long, or who's going to hire me after being home with the kids? I want you to take a deep breath because after this episode, we're going to help you see things differently. Today, we're talking about the most essential skills, job skills to have in today's job market, especially as a mom. The fact is, our world is changing fast, but that doesn't mean that you're behind. It actually means so much to offer when you learn to see your skills through a new lens. Grab your coffee, your journal, or maybe you're just listening to this in the carpool and you can come back later, but let's get into it. And this episode is a little bit personal. I spent over 10 years as a stay at home mom. So, if you know anything about my story, I went to school for accounting and bookkeeping. Or, no, I do bookkeeping now, but I went to school for accounting and business management. I worked in corporate accounting for a few years and then I ended up getting pregnant. When my son was 2 years old, I really got to a place where I needed to be more home more with him. However, I was working full time. I was working a 9 to 5. I felt like I barely had time after picking him up from the sitter. We had dinner, I give him a bath, and we were going to bed. And I just had no time with him, and I wanted more time with him. My job laid me off after I requested a 4-day work week. And it was in that moment I realized the workforce was not made for mothers. I took it as a blessing in disguise and I chose to stay home with him and we made ends work, we made things work. It was a struggle though. And so I always had little side gigs going. But after over 10 years as a stay-at-home mom, I was married for 13 years and at some point we were struggling financially and my husband, we never had shared bank accounts, which was a mistake on my part. I should not have demanded that. But it came to be where he just didn't want to give me money. It was like he wanted all of his money to be his. And so he paid all the bills, but then if there was anything extra, he wanted to go out and play with it. There was times when we were struggling, yet he went and blew like $300 at the Halloween store. And so we were just not aligned financially and our values. And it came to be a time when I had no funds because I was going through burnout. I was managing the home, I was taking care of the kids, and his money was his money. And he didn't want me to have any of it. And so my purpose and my mission in my business has changed a little bit. I've always helped women in confidence and energy alignment. However, I'm having a really strong desire and my mission is to help women to be financially independent because you should not be stuck in a marriage and have zero access to finances. And we live in a world where men feel entitled. Feel entitled to women's labor and they use money as it's a form of control and power. And if I'm going to help you step into your power, I need you to have ways of making money because you cannot be in your full power if you're financially dependent on someone else. So here's something I wish every mom knew. You already have the core skills that make you incredibly valuable. We're talking about things like leadership, problem solving, emotional intelligence, and time management. Think about it. You've negotiated with toddlers. You've managed logistics that rival Fortune 500 companies, handled meltdowns like a pro, learned how to multitask in a middle of the chaos. Those are not soft skills. Those are power skills. When I first started this podcast, I interviewed a business coach, and the episode was called something around it had to do with CEO, like moms could are like CEOs. If I find it, it should be on my YouTube channel. I'll link it below, and you can go check out that podcast. It was like one of my very first episodes back in like 2020. Back then, the podcast was called Moms in Business. That's an episode for a different time. But we're finally at a time when more and more companies are valuing skills like leadership, time management, emotional intelligence, and being able to multitask. So I don't want you to think that motherhood made you less qualified. Motherhood helped you step more into your power. So here's 5 skills that are much needed in today's job market that makes you as a mom a great fit. And you may already have these skills or you can develop them. Number 1 is adaptability and constantly learning. We are in a time of constant change. Technology, business, even the way people are working. The ones who thrive aren't necessarily the ones who know everything, but they're the ones who stay curious and adaptable. You don't have to go back to college or spend thousands of dollars. You can start small. You can read books, get on YouTube, take a course. Being a mom has already taught you adaptability. Every new season, your kids require something new of you. You always have to learn, unlearn, and grow with them. These same skills apply here. Number 2 is digital literacy. Now let's talk tech. Before you roll your eyes, hear me out. You don't need to be a tech wizard, you just need some digital confidence. Whether it's using Canva, Google Workspace, or project management skills like tools like Asana, Monday, being comfortable with tech makes you more marketable. Whether you are applying for remote jobs or you're just doing your own thing. I recently joined Upwork, which Upwork is like a freelance site. And a lot of times the potential clients or employers are asking what tech skills do you already have? What softwares do you already know? So just take baby steps. There are free courses out there. Get on YouTube, or maybe just ask your kids which apps they're already using and how maybe they can teach you. Number 3 is communication and personal branding. This one is huge. How you communicate your story matters more than ever. Here's the thing. You already have a personal brand, even if you don't know it. Personal brand is what people know you for. And this is how I like to utilize astrology because we can tap into your unique strengths, things you're already good at. I'm actually teaching a course, a workshop on aligned abundance where we go through your birth chart and there's certain key aspects we're going to look at in your birth chart to help you identify with money making opportunities you have right now. I see so many women downplaying their own skill sets. It's not, oh, I just stay home with the kids. No, you managed a household. You managed a team. You organized schedules, handled finances, planned meals, and you probably ran crisis communications already. The key is learning how to tell your story with confidence. Whether you're refreshing your LinkedIn updating your resume, or pitching yourself. Your story is your brand. So I went on an interview a couple weeks ago, and the interview was for an office manager. And a lot of my skills in accounting and bookkeeping translated to what they were looking for in this office management position. And he was telling me about all the little things that he didn't really have in the job description, but it was like a little this and a little that. And I said, "Oh, you mean it's kind of being the mom of the business?" And he said, "Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it." So here's a reframe for you. Over the past 5 years, I've developed strong skills in leadership, organization, emotional intelligence through running my household and managing multiple priorities. Can you see the difference? So, skill number 4 is emotional intelligence. In a world of automation, emotional intelligence is what's going to help you stand out. It's your ability to stay calm under pressure. You can read the room. You respond rather than react. Does this sound familiar? You do this every day as a mom. You're diffusing sibling battles, managing your own energy when everyone else is melting down. You've already built your emotional intelligence skills. And employers, clients, they like that. People are craving leaders and collaborators who bring empathy and grounded energy to the office. Skill number 5 is confidence and self leadership. Confidence is the thread that ties all of this together. It's not about knowing everything. It's about trusting yourself that you can figure it out. Self leadership means you're showing up with integrity. You're taking initiative. You're managing your own energy before managing everyone else's. Here's the thing, confidence doesn't come before action, it comes with action. So start small. Speak up in the meeting. Send the email, share your story, take your next aligned step. Okay, so let's also talk about future skills for the next decade. Here are some emerging skills that you can stay ahead of the game. Creativity and innovation. With Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini, we are craving innovation and the ability to bring new ideas to the table. Moms are some of the most creative problem solvers around. Collaboration in virtual spaces. More and more work is being done online. So, learning to connect, communicate, and build trust through a screen is key. Energy management. Your ability to protect your energy, your time, and your mindset is a professional skill. Burnout is not a badge of honor. So here's your journal prompt. What skills have I gained through motherhood that makes me a stronger leader, communicator, and innovator? And then ask, what is one skill I can commit to learning or improving this month? Maybe you take a free course, maybe you update your LinkedIn or resume. You're not starting over, you're stepping up. If you love this, I would love to have you in the Aligned Abundance Workshop. I'll leave the link below. We're going to go through your birth chart. You're going to learn so much about marketable skills you already have and a little bit about your personal brand. We're going to talk about what you're known for or what you should be known for based on your natal birth chart. And if you haven't already, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel or podcast, wherever you're listening from, so you never miss an episode.